Hey, welcome back, everybody. In terms of finances, the pandemic has affected a lot of people very differently. So some people have saved a lot of others have lost nearly everything.
So as we move further into the reopening phase, how should we be spending and saving our money? CTV's chief financial commentator, Pattie Lovett-Reid, is joining us with some answers. Welcome, Pattie. We always love having you.
Oh, thanks, Jess. And hi, Mel.
Hi. Looking fabulous as always. But listen, we are here to talk money. And according to Statistics Canada, this is an unbelievable stat. Canadians amassed $212 billion with a B in savings last year. Let's compare that to $18 billion only in 2019. So that is more, if you kind of break down the math, that's about $5,000 extra in your pocket per Canadian. So some people clearly have some cash to burn. So what are you seeing in terms of what that looks like and translates in like spending consumer habits?
Well, what I can tell you is, yeah, it was a lot of money. There was nowhere to spend. And those that did so in a limited sort of way. But this K-shaped recovery, the numbers are actual, but the distribution is very different. The rich got richer, the poor got poorer. You make a great point that not everyone has done well coming out of this. And there are many, and many who are watching right now who are literally struggling. They want to spend, but they may not have the resources to do it.
Exactly. The pandemic hit differently for people in various sectors. And some of the hardest hit areas were retailers, hospitality, and tourism. If we do see people who saved their money spend it, will that be enough for those industries to recover?
You know what, Jess, that's going to take some time. There's no question about it. Over the past year or so, we've been spending on goods. Now we'd like to see that shift, and we're feeling it. We want to have some fun. So people are looking to spas, to recreation, to travel, to restaurants, to sporting events. You know where I'm sort of going with this. But, you know, that one event isn't going to bring them back. And there are many who are saying that, you know, they've taken on a lot of debt. They need consumers to spend, but there's that push-pull because we potentially still are in the fourth wave of a pandemic, and there are some wild cards and uncertainty.
Yeah, I see that maybe you're spending on beautiful dresses, Pattie Lovett-Reid.
Or not.
I'm teasing. So even with more money in pockets, there are still a lot of people who are rightly concerned about what feels like rising prices overall for a lot of stuff. So are you expecting inflation to continue to tick higher?
Well, that's the big question, Mel, and I think it's an important one because there's often this term transitory, meaning temporary. That's what the Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem has said. Others are wondering if it's sticky. Now, to your point, tomorrow we get August inflation numbers, likely going to come in about 3.9. But if you're someone, a family of four, according to Sylvain Charlebois out of Dalhousie University, that average family is spending $800 more per year right now on food because of inflation. We've seen it in the housing market. We've seen it in utilities. And so when you think about prices going higher and you only have so much money coming in, you know, you have to be really sort of discriminating in terms of where you're going to decide to spend it. So inflation is an issue. I think it probably will be temporary, but it's still high.
Yeah, exactly. And supply chain issues are making importing things from overseas way more expensive. What items in particular are costing more?
You know what, Jess? Right across the board.
Really?
And why we talk about supply chain issues, countries that have COVID at different stages where goods are made, you can't get those goods to the shelves so consumers can buy them. And retailers are really frustrated. They're saying they can't necessarily lower the prices because shipping costs are high, input costs are high, inflation is factored in. And so, you know, the supply chain is really going to impact everything from electronics to clothing to footwear to toys. I mean, the list goes on and on. Let me give you an example. Home Depot has said that they have already sold out of their early sales for Halloween decorations. Now,
I'm sorry, for Halloween?
Halloween.
I'm just looking at the date. It's September 14th.
Yeah,
What?
so now don't shoot the messenger here because now I'm going to say, now's the time you start your Christmas shopping. And the reason for that is because there won't be necessarily the inventory on the shelves. You're going to find there aren't going to be a lot of discounts, and shipping is going to take that much longer. So, yeah, I'm not telling you to go out and Christmas shop, but I am telling you there will be some that do.
Or get creative with our Halloween decor, because we're not going to be able to find
Only
it.
you.
Guess what?
Only you.
Marqueza, guess who's doing arts and crafts for Halloween decorations? We're going to get DIY in our house for sure. And speaking of which, we are starting, I don't want to say it, but we're going to eventually be walking into these colder weather months. And in particular, small business owners, we've been hearing it right across the country, kind of calling to the provincial governments to say, hey, what's the plan for the fall and winter to avoid any potential future lockdowns? Because listen, if there's another lockdown, Pattie, what could that mean for small businesses if that were another eventuality?
You know, Mel, I've been talking to a number of small business owners. They have taken on so much debt. They simply cannot afford another lockdown. And you're right. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, they are rallying provinces across the country to say, we need a program that allows us to stay open. We need to have procedures in place. They can't take on more debt. They're already struggling to get out from under as it is. And small business is the backbone of our economy. But I'll go back to what you had said earlier. There is pent-up demand still. People are going to be out there shopping. The holiday season, back to Christmas, obviously one of my favorite, according to Deloitte and MasterCard, sales will likely be up about 7%. So it's not that people won't be spending. They're probably just spending in a more selective way right now.
So the last year and a half has been a lesson in uncertainty for all of us. What personal finance habits might people want to reevaluate right now?
Well, you know, I've, again, heard from so many that said the importance of an emergency fund. When you need emergency money, whether it's a fund where you have 6 months living expenses, or you have a credit card or a line of credit that you don't use, in that moment when you need it, it's invaluable. But you often don't think about it until you're in that moment. And so I do think having access to some money to get you through a difficult period of time is a great way to start. I do think a lot of people are reevaluating their budgets, trying to understand how much money I have coming in, what it is I'm spending my money on. Are you happy with your salary and your job? People are looking very closely at that as well.
So listen, Pattie, if we're still in this pandemic for a while, which, you know, it certainly feels like it's not ending tomorrow, at least we know that.
Right.
What should people who are watching be doing with their money? Are you recommending overall, listen, spend, help the economy recover, or hold up, save a little for that rainy day?
You know where I'm probably going with it. You know, I don't think any one person has to single-handedly prop up the economy. But if you can afford to spend, you should spend. And I do think helping out shopping locally, small business owners is a great way to go. But I think it's different for every person. There's a report out by BMO that suggests that financial anxiety is starting to creep back in. And that means people want to spend. 38% say they are overspending, and only a third feel really good about their financial future. So for me, that's the rallying cry to say, I need to understand my finances, not my neighbors, not my other family member, just what I've got going on.
Pattie Lovett-Reid, fashion icon, financial wizard.
Oh, tell me why you're saying that. I bought this in 2014. My Instagram followers said they liked it still, just for the record.
It's gorgeous.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you as usual. We'll be right back.
Thank you.